So I think I just found the best rom-com of the year, and it's a series on Netflix called One Day. It's honestly one of the best series that I've seen from Netflix in a long time. Of course, spoilers because, I'm going through the whole thing. But this was fantastic, and it's one of those shows that once you start watching, like it gets addictive pretty quickly where you want to watch the whole thing. I've seen a bunch of Reddit posts, I've seen a bunch of people, because as soon as I finished it, I needed to see other people's opinions. But I've seen a bunch of those kind of posting that said, once I started, I couldn't stop. And of course, it's based off a book because, the best kind of shows and things usually are. What it does is it follows these two characters, Emma and Dex, through 20 years, but just on one day, July 15th, and it starts in 1988 when they're graduating uni. So it essentially follows their lives through 20 years as they figure out relationships, careers, becoming adults, friendships, life events. It follows their lives throughout the whole thing and how they continue to run into each other and continue a friendship over this period of time as well. These types of series, movies, and shows are what I love because they portray reality. Reality. It follows people's lives. It's not, people's lives are not straight. It's a all over the place. It's up and down. There's good and bad. There's lessons. There's so many things packed in people's lives, and most rom-coms don't portray that correctly. So essentially, for me, that's what this show did. It portrayed life. And I'm so glad that I went into this blind and didn't know what this was about or read the book or anything like that, because it subverts your expectations when you watch the first episode. You can clearly tell that this is different. This is not the typical rom-com. And it's trying to do something different essentially and follow the lives of people instead of, making the romance the whole thing, even though that is the main premise of this show. In this series, it's complicated, it's real, it's in your face a little bit with some of these things that kind of happen throughout the show. It's a lot, and it takes you on this whole journey and ride where you see things happening, you don't know where it's going, but then you have some idea and it changes. It's ideal in every single way, and for me, it's the best thing that I've seen from Netflix in a long time. So, just in the first episode, like I said, it's pretty quick. I'm not going to go episode to episode for this whole thing, but just to give you kind of cliff notes of these episodes and the big things that really make me feel like it's the best that I've seen this year. In the first episode, it's immediate. They meet, their eyes hit, the whole kind of thing. And, you think the next thing is for them to kind of hook up. They're just kind of talking. She's a different kind of character. She's quirky. She has her own type of, comedy. She's her own type of funny. And Dex is trying to understand that and see that when they meet. And instead of hooking up, they just talk. She just wants to talk, so they just talk pretty much all night. And they really get to learn who each other are. And, that's what Emma wants. She wants a deeper connection with people rather than just, doing the deed and then pushing it forward. So that's kind of what happens in the first episode, where they learn about each other and go about it like that. But it's the first episode and the last day of the time of them all being there as they're kind of leaving, so nothing really comes of that. The second episode, it's pretty much the same. Nothing really happens. You see them as adults now. They're trying to figure out what they're trying to do. Emma's kind of she's part of this play writing a little bit, and it's just she's just in these little pubs trying to keep her acting-ish writing career going, and it's fine. And Dex is kind of just out on the town spending money. He can afford to do these things, so that's kind of what he's doing. And they're both at the end of the second episode, they both are going to end up in London, where Emma's going to move out there, and Dex is just heading back there. So from kind of the middle part of, the episodes, from like, 3 to 10 or anything like that, it's pretty much just building. Both of them are going on with their lives. One, Dex is partying a lot during these kind of, years, and Emma is just trying to find her footing. She loves writing, but she doesn't do that. She goes into teaching. She kind of does the teaching, and that's kind of what she does for a while. This is kind of what she does. For Dex, eventually he kind of goes into hosting. He becomes a host, and that's just his thing. He's hosting like this. It's almost like a Regis and Philman type of thing, or Regis and Kelly, my mistake. But it's that type of hosting where, he's just kind of talking to celebrities in these bands, maybe up and comers or people who are already known, and just introducing them, interviewing them, and things like that. His personality is very unlikable. Everybody kind of hates him. All of the people that watch the show, they kind of watch the show because they're hating him. But that's kind of what they're doing for a long time. And as they kind of grow out of this phase, as they kind of grow up into their mid-20s, and during this time, a decade is going by. So they are still friends here and there, talking when they can. After they had left it before, they just talk when they can, as they're kind of going through it. And as you kind of see during this time, they really start to rely on each other as friends. Their friendship is really growing, and they start to rely on each other. They are constantly kind of talking, sending letters, things like that, as you do in the, early to mid 90s. Nobody really has phones yet. They're coming in, but they're not really a thing. So, they write, they talk on the phone, as you kind of do, and they grow together as friends. But during these times, you can kind of see the vices that Dex is kind of dealing with, his kind of drinking. It's becoming more of an issue. The alcohol is really becoming a problem. And also what's not great, his personal life is not doing well with his mother. His mother is sick, and it's just not a good situation. And he relies on Emma during these really hard times, where he's just kind of partying and doing this hosting thing, and then drinking and going through relationships and things like that, while Emma is teaching, kind of figuring out where she wants to go and how she wants to kind of do this. During this time, it's very heavy. And the end of it, from, I remember, episode 10 or something or like that, they kind of hit a breaking point where Dex invites them out to dinner, and it doesn't go well. He's looking at other people, not really talking about her, not really wanting to learn. For him, the money and the fame has kind of gotten to him at this point. And it's funny because kind of going back to, the earlier episodes around 3, 4, they had gone out and, somebody had asked Dex for an autograph, and, Emma's giving him shit for it, saying like, oh, big time over here, you're a big guy now. And obviously Five's and he's playing it off. He's like, shut up, all this other stuff. Not seeing himself like that. But 5, 6 years later, it's become like a thing. It's really gotten to him at this point, and he thinks of it. He thinks he's like that guy, and Emma doesn't like that. And the drinking is a problem, and he is just kind of mean to her. So after that, they kind of go years without speaking because of that fallout. And what brings them back is a wedding. Mind you, before everything kind of fell off and they kind of went apart, there's always been this, like in When Harry Met Sally, and if you've seen movies like that and shows like that, there's always this thing there. There's not a will they, won't they, not at all ish. But there is this thing where Emma has had feelings for Dex for a minute, but has pushed that away because, they've both just gone on with their lives. They're not around each other. So they've met other people, they're going on dates, but there's always this thing, anytime they talk, they're so close that there's always this like thing of like wanting, it's almost like for her, she doesn't want to wait. She wants to wait, but doesn't want to wait. And he wants her to wait, but doesn't want her to wait at the same time. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. They're both holding something there when they shouldn't be, and they're trying to move on. The time when they, got into that fight and kind of went their separate ways for a little bit, kind of brought all of that to a head. Part of the reason why that happened was because of this, both sides of wanting to wait and not wanting to wait. So, like I said, what brings them back is Emma's best friend's wedding, and Dex is sent an invitation and he accepts because he knows, mind you, he's in a relationship at this time, but he knows Emma's going to be there, and he still wants this. At this point, they've been friends for like 10 years now, until the kind of mesh of fighting that they had. So he still wants the friendship, Emma still wants the friendship, and they don't really know where they stand. Like they've just stopped talking. They didn't say hey, we're not gonna be friends anymore. They just stopped talking. So there's like this middle ground, and there's this shot in the wedding where Tilly's friend's walking down, and Emma and Dex, as Tilly walks by up to the altar, Dex and Emma lock eyes, and it's magical. I can't even that's so cliche and corny and everything, but it is purely magical where these people, they lock eyes, and it's just it's instantaneous, it's immediate, it's just you already know, it's insane how quickly, and that was the build up to that, and everything up in between that, the hurt, the feelings, the careers, the life that has been going up and down for both of them, and talking, and the friendship. It's so insane. It was great to see that scene. And obviously during the wedding after, there's this maze, and they're kind of talking about their lives, where they are, what's kind of happened through these last couple of years. And a bombshell is just dropped during this time, where Dex tells Emma that he's in a relationship with the person that he brought, of course. And the bigger bombshell than that is they're having a baby. So that is just, what the hell is going on? And Emma feels crushed in a way, because when you have a kid, you don't have time for anything else. Your friends and all these things, you don't have time for that, really. And that's what Emma is worried about. They both meet at the wedding, and she feels like, oh, he's finally come back. We can be friends again, and then just continue with life. But no, she feels that things are going to change, and Dex promises that things won't. At this point, they are significantly older, late 20s. Dex has gone through this drinking thing. He's trying to pull himself out of it, this whole thing, where he's kind of become soberish now. Even though with everything changing, it's clear that they both want this friendship to continue, and that's kind of how they do that. Going forward, even though the baby comes and is around and things, a year later, I believe in either 1999 or 2000, something like that, they are still talking, they're still friends. After this whole wedding thing, the next year that goes by, they're friends. Now we're significantly later into the time. I believe we're in the early 2000s, like 2000, 1999, something like that. And I just need to preface, because these handful of episodes truly murder me. They murder me. Dex is with his relationship, but he's going through a divorce because, things were just not good. His wife was not faithful. I think he had something of his own, but it was just bad. And what was worse is Dex's wife cheats on Dex with his boss. So, it was really bad. But he's going through a divorce. At this point, Emma's pretty successful now. The tides have changed, where Dex has kind of fallen off of his hosting thing, and he's been kind of done with that, and he's kind of just bartending-ish, but not really. He works as kind of a barista type of thing at a coffee shop. And that's kind of what he does now. And he has his kid, but he only gets to see his kid sometimes because he doesn't have full custody. That whole thing is going on with his life. Emma over here is writing a book. She wrote a book. It was very successful, and she's on to her second book. So it's really, the tides have turned, and she's kind of becoming big time with these books. And, she's doing what she's always wanted to do. And, Dex is very supportive. He's really kind of changed at this point, where he's not that douchey person that he was before. He's really become this nice, cool, he's really become this nice person. And it's funny because he's at the age of kind of where I am now, which is just insane. But so he's going through all this stuff. He's going through all of these things. Emma and him are still very close, and he wants to go meet her. He wants to hang out with her, just spend time, as this divorce has kind of gone through and doing that whole thing. And he, in his mind, is like, this is my chance to get Emma back. But Emma is in a relationship. So, Emma's in Paris writing her book. She needs to, get some inspiration. And, Dex goes to visit her, finds out she's in a relationship, and, that crushes him. It's not good. But, once he visits and he's there, it's inevitable. It just happens. It's funny. This whole scene is insane. He's there just crashing at her place. Her boyfriend comes over. They meet. Dex and the boyfriend of Emma meet. And, it's fine. He's truly crushed meeting this guy. And he leaves, and they're about to go out. She's about to, go out with him, with her boyfriend, hang out, stay at his place. And then she tells Dex before leaving, I'm not going to be back. So, just do whatever. And it's this scene where Dex is taking a shower. He thinks Emma's long gone, and Emma ends up coming back, and Dex is taking a shower. It's great that they layer these little repeats within the show as well, because this exact scene, Emma sees Dex taking a shower. This is an exact scene from damn near 10 years prior of the same thing happening, where they had gone out on a trip 10 years prior. They went somewhere, I think to Greece, and just hung out as, friends. And, they were just, this was where Dex got, seen or recognized and got an autograph. During that time, there was a scene where, Dex is taking a shower, and Emma sees him in the shower and runs away. She gets all flustered and all that stuff, but runs away and pretends to not see. Fast forward to now, 1999, 2000, she sees that she comes back into her apartment, and Dex is taking a shower, and it was just inevitable. Right then and there, she knows it's Dex. It is Dex, and it's Dex. So they talk, they do all that stuff, they kind of hang out. And the big thing here is there's a moment where they're just talking to each other, and she says, they hook up and all that stuff, and after, she says, is this real? Like, literally, it's almost confirming to herself and asking him, do not ruin this. Do not ruin this. I will murder you if you ruin this. Like, because you can tell she's saying that as in a way of like, can I give you everything right now? Can I allow myself to be can I give you my full soul and give you everything, and believe and trust you that you won't screw this up? And that's what she's saying. In not so many words, she's saying, are you going to ruin this? And everything he's gone through with his mother, his drinking, everything, he says no, because he knows he won't. This is Emma. This is the person. And then she's like, okay, and just lets go. And that's where their relationship finally starts. I don't know, we are 12, 13 years in of their friendship, their rocky friendship, and this is when they start their relationship. This starts the next chapter of their lives together. And as you've been watching this show, this is what you've kind of been waiting for. But you loved the road it took to get here, because you saw the ups and downs and the times where they were there for each other as they're going through different relationships, different career adjustments, different things. Like, Emma is successful with her writing and her book, but one of the biggest people who was pushing her to do this was Dex. Dex told her from a minute ago to do this writing, to put her all into writing. And so she's in writing because of him. So now that they are, and that's going to come into play in a second. So now that they're together, they're in a relationship, they're finally kind of together now. It's, I don't know, early 2000, 2002, something like that. Dex wants to start a business. And, you know, during this time, they're in a relationship. They've been together a couple of years now. Emma realizes that she wants a kid. And then episode 13 happens. And everything happens so quickly. I don't even know. It's literally Emma leaves a message. They just miss each other. They have cell phones at this point, so it's like 2003 or something like that. And it's raining. Emma jumps on her bike to get there. She's crossing a roundabout, it looks like. And as she's turning, a truck comes her way and hits her. I was distraught. It doesn't really hit me until the next episode, episode 14, because that happened at the end of episode 13. In episode 14, it doesn't hit me until like the aftermath. The only thing that's going to help him is time, and it's so hard, it's unbelievable, it doesn't feel real, but time is the only thing that can help this woman. It's funny, one of the things that kind of helps him not really move on, but trying to just live his life, is doing the things that he enjoyed doing with Emma with his kid. So he goes to these different places and he does these different things, and the big thing that really kind of helped, you know, him, but also kind of like myself, and I'm sure all these other people that were watching, the first person to take him on this hike was Emma. And in episode 14, Dex is taking his daughter on this hike. And as his daughter's going up the hill, he can see, he's envisioning Emma going up. It's this whole thing.